Battle Through the Heavens, Chapter 118. A desperate flight on the wings of an eagle. Just as Xiaoyan finally unlocks the ancient treasures hidden within the stone chamber, the silent triumph is shattered by the arrival of unexpected foes. The Wolfhead Mercenary Company has tracked their every move, and now stands ready to seize everything. In the blink of an eye, a moment of discovery turns into a desperate struggle for survival against a predatory ambush.
10 shadows stepped from the darkness beyond the stone door. They moved with a slow, predatory confidence. The heavy stone slab that once guarded the room lay in ruins at their feet. Mu Li, captain of the Wolfhead Mercenary Company, walked into the moonlight. His eyes swept over the piles of gold coins. He licked his lips, his gaze shifting to the stone chest Xiaoyan was trying to open. He smiled. He didn't look sorry for the intrusion at all. Xiaoyan's fingers locked tight around the key. His face went hard. He glanced at the little fairy doctor, whose brows were knit tight with anger. He turned back to Mu Li.
"You followed us,"
he said. His voice was flat and cold.
"It was barely a tale," Mu Li said. He shrugged. "I heard rumors that the little fairy doctor was looking for a vault. I just didn't have the map."
"How did you find out?"
she asked. Her voice shook.
"I only told Li Fei. Did you get to her?"
Mu Li didn't look away.
"A few sweet words are all it takes for a girl like that to spill her secrets."
"You're a bastard,"
she spat. Mu Li ignored the insult. He spoke about the future of his company. He needed these treasures to crush the other factions in Qingshan town. He didn't want to stay in a small village forever. He looked at the little fairy doctor with a soft, practiced affection. He told her he liked her. He promised she would be well cared for if she stayed with him. She laughed at him. The sound was sharp and full of disgust. Being near him made her skin crawl. Mu Li's smile didn't reach his eyes anymore. They went cold.
"If she wouldn't come willingly," he said, he would just have to force her. Then he looked at Zhao Yan. He told the boy it was too late to join the company now.
Xiaoyan rubbed his nose. He mocked the mercenaries for acting so high and mighty when they didn't even have a single Da Doshi in their ranks. Mu Li's face darkened. He told Xiaoyan he would give him a clean death if he handed over the loot. Xiaoyan did the math. 10 mercenaries stood between him and the door. Most were 4- or 5-star doge. Mu Li was a 6-star. Xiaoyan's chest felt heavy. He could handle one of them, but not a dozen. Not while carrying the heavy black sword on his back. He called out to Yao Lao in his mind. There was no answer. He was on his own. Mu Li stood in the doorway like a cat watching a mouse. He admitted Xiaoyan had talent, but he didn't want to leave a genius alive to seek revenge later. His father had taught him to pull weeds out by the roots. Xiaoyan's eyes narrowed. He told Mu Li that if he escaped, the Wolfhead Mercenary Company wouldn't have a single day of peace. Mu Li's killing intent flared at the threat. Behind Xiaoyan, the little fairy doctor's hand brushed his. She pressed a small packet into his palm.
"Sleeping powder,"
she whispered. Xiaoyan gripped the powder. He looked at the moonstones embedded in the walls.
"Follow me,"
he told her. She nodded, her face pale. Mu Li waved his hand. 5 men rushed forward. The rest stayed at the door, blocking the exit. Xiaoyan swore under his breath. They were disciplined. He threw the bag of powder into the air and struck it with a burst of do qi. The bag exploded, filling the room with a thick cloud of dust.
"Hold your breath,"
Mu Li roared.
Stay at the door. Kill them if they move.
Xiaoyan grabbed the little fairy doctor's hand. He used his vacuum palm to rip the moonstones from the walls and shove them into his storage ring. The room plunged into total darkness. They bolted toward the door. Mu Li barked orders. He told his men to light torches and kill anyone who approached the exit. Xiaoyan moved through the blackness like a ghost. He slammed his palm into the chests of 2 mercenaries. They went down with a gasp of pain.
He's at the door.
Someone screamed. Mu Li backed up, blocking the narrow passage with his own body. He channeled pale green dou qi into his arms. His skin turned the color of old wood, hardening like a shield. Wood body defense. He pulled out a glowing pearl, lighting up a 3-foot circle around him. Xiaoyan and the little fairy doctor rushed into the light. Mu Li grinned. He threw a heavy, wood-hardened fist at Xiaoyan's head. Xiaoyan didn't flinch. He willed the heavy black sword into his storage ring. Without the weight, his speed exploded. His dou qi surged through his meridians like a tidal wave. He felt the power thrumming in his bones. He clenched his fist, Gan sign popping on his arm. Octane blast! The 2 fists collided. The sound was like a thunderclap inside the cave. Mu Li's face twisted. He realized too late that Xiaoyan's strength had jumped several levels in a heartbeat. He screamed for his men to kill the boy at any cost. Xiaoyan's lips curled into a cold smile.
Detonate.
A second, muffled explosion rippled through Mu Li's arm and into his chest. His face went bone white. He sprayed a cloud of blood and collapsed against the stone wall. Xiaoyan didn't stop to finish him. He dragged the little fairy doctor through the gap and sprinted for the tunnel exit. The mercenaries stood frozen for a second, stunned that their captain had been broken so easily. Mu Li hissed at them to move. He told them to signal the men on the cliffs to kill everyone. Xiaoyan ran until his lungs burned. He could taste blood in his mouth. The octane blast had taken its toll on his own body. They reached the cliffside. The little fairy doctor told him the mercenaries would be waiting at the top. She pulled out a small bamboo whistle and blew a high, strange note. A sharp cry echoed from the peaks. A giant blue eagle soared through the moonlight and landed at the cave mouth. They jumped onto the bird's back. Arrows hissed from the cliff tops, but the eagle's wings flapped once, sending a gust of wind that knocked the projectiles aside. They rose into the night sky. Xiaoyan looked down. He saw Mu Li standing at the cave entrance, leaning on his men. Their eyes met across the distance. They both wore the same savage, murderous grin.
Where will you go?
Xiaoyan asked. The little fairy doctor adjusted her hair in the wind.
He whispered. She said she would go back to her medical team. Mu Li wouldn't dare touch her in public because of her reputation in town. But Xiaoyan couldn't go back. Mu Li would hunt him down. Xiaoyan nodded. He told her he would stay in the mountains to train. He promised that when he returned, he would settle the score with the wolf-head mercenaries. Yao Lao's voice finally returned to his head, sounding like a smug old fox. He told Xiaoyan that danger was the best way to force a breakthrough. He promised to make Xiaoyan a dou qi in record time. The eagle dropped Xiaoyan off on a high ridge before taking the little fairy doctor back to her camp. She gave him a bag of medicinal powders for protection. Xiaoyan watched her fly away, then turned toward the dark heart of the forest. For 2 days, he pushed deeper into the magical beast mountains. He stayed low in the brush, covered in dirt and dead leaves. He watched a firewolf stalk through the trees. When it was close enough, he lunged. One octane blast shattered the beast's spine. He found a small red monster core in its skull, his first real prize. He followed the sound of rushing water until the forest opened up. A massive waterfall thundered down the mountainside, throwing a silver mist into the air. Natural caves dotted the cliffs around the falls. It was the perfect sanctuary. Xiaoyan sat down and pulled 2 scrolls from his ring. He finally had the time to see exactly what he had nearly died for.